This is Professor Rosemary Obasi taking you Advanced Auditing and Assurance Lesson 2, titled Audit Practice Management. Yes, in order for us to proceed, therefore, on this topic, Audit Practice Management. Audit Practice Management is simply the whole system of managing the firm stemming from the staff relations, client relationship, the audit engagement, risk management, etc. It basically should cover the following. We'll be looking at it from firm strategic plan, specific functional plans, staff and client relationship management, risk management and other relevant issues, stages involved in running a firm, and finally we'll look at monitoring external forces. Now let's start with strategic plan of the firm. A practical firm strategic plan should cover the following. First and foremost, identify the strength of your firm and then develop a business strategic process. The question will be, how should I identify the strength of my firm? And to do this, to identify the strength of your firm is to identify, you have to consider the following. Can the firm focus on transactional or compliance services or on high-end advisory work? Can it comprise of large number of employees and few partners, or it can have a high proportion of partners with few employees? The essential ingredient for success is for every firm to know its own strategy. That is, that path that the principals and employees wish to travel, so that the firm meets the needs of its owners. Good management will keep the firm commercially viable and professionally competent. After asking those critical questions, the next stage is the business strategic processes. A successful accounting firm, indeed, any successful business is one which delivers a service its customers want at a price customers consider to be fair value. The nature of the service will differ even among accounting firms. Value as perceived by your clients will depend on the benefits that you deliver, the feeling of confidence and dependability that your people engender, and of course the cost to your client. There are various strategies to be adopted, such as market strategy, technology strategy, service strategy, even competitive strategy, where you have to consider whether to specialize or to generalize. Firm can choose from 3 possible positions in presenting their services. On occasion, a combination of 2 is possible. Now, what are the 3 possible market strategies that are common? You have the overall cost leadership strategy. This is the strategy that is based on delivering your services with a low cost base, which in turn enables you to sell your service at a lower price yet still be profitable. A strong focus on cost reduction is required. The second market strategy is the differentiation. A differentiation strategy demands that you take a different path in delivering your service from that which most of or many of your competitors will adopt. Success with this strategy requires that you know your competitors extremely well. Then the third market strategy is the focus strategy. The third possible market strategy revolves around focus. For example, your firm might focus on one industry or a very small number of industries. By doing this, your people can legitimately claim expertise in dealing with, for example, professional practices or doctors or the mining industry or the arts community. Let's now look at technology strategy. This strategy cuts across the type of office and operations. Technology strategy is the using of mobile technology, especially phones and internet-based wireless communications, enables a virtual office to be operated. This in turn allows accounting personnel to move seamlessly between the office, a client's premises, and even the accountant's home, all the while being connected or at least accessible to accounting applications. Then the cloud. This allows the accountant and client to operate on the business records at the same time, enabling real-time interaction with the client, opening up the opportunities for clients to outsource much of their finance function to external accountants, who effectively becomes the internal accountant. Then the use of a specialist IT is advised as consultant, since they, that's the IT consultant, and not you, will remain totally current in their knowledge about ever-changing risks and potential applications. Do not underestimate the risks that the loss of physical equipment possesses. Theft of a laptop or smartphone or a memory stick may be as big a risk to the firm's computer security as any hacker. For that reason, all aspects of technology security must be addressed in assessing the applications of IT use in delivering your services. Like any aspect of the firm's operation, a plan and a budget must be prepared for its technology. The IT plan should also have a disaster recovery system that is tested regularly. Now let us look at service strategies. There are basically 4 service strategies to consider here. The very first one is the specialization. This specialization model simply means that you choose to specialize in a niche accounting service or client base. You are consciously focusing on a narrow range of services and turning your back on the other services provided by competitors. Your revenue will come from services that few competitors can provide. To make this strategy work financially, you must have highly skilled team members. You must have a high network within and outside your environment to generate enough clients, and you must select a suitable pricing policy. The second service strategy is generalization. Generalization model simply means that you are generalizing what your firms will be offering. That is, your firm offers a broad range of accounting services, not necessarily all the available services, but a reasonable spread to clients in your marketplace. Once again, skill and knowledge are important, but a key challenge is to keep up to date with changes across all the areas of service. Other issues to consider here are that one tactic is to appoint a number of internal specialists, each of whom keeps current in an aspect of your service. The generalization model requires considerable amounts of study and professional development. Practitioners may need to subscribe to many publications or technical resources to access the full range of detailed information. The third service strategy is known as the client-centric. This strategy is like making your firm client-centered. And client-centric is the fundamental mindset to adopt when you choose this strategy. When deciding on the best possible approach for your own firm, put yourself in the position of your client and ask yourself questions such as, what will be the primary focus of this firm? What services will your target market want or need? How many of those services can you provide at present with the current personnel? Will you deliver services in client's premises? How much of your service can best be delivered directly at the client's premises, and how much is best delivered at your office? How will you price your services? Will you adopt a time-based billing or a value pricing model? What is the most suitable location for your office? Offline, online? Do you even need a physical office? How will you bridge any gaps in the range of services over the next 12 years as well as in the long term? After all these considerations, you now decide if you are going for the client-centric model. Then the fourth strategy is you considering the services that you develop a strategies for the services that you intend to render. So it's known as service rendering strategies. This strategy enables you to identify the variety of services your firm can render. However, you must consider the professional guidelines from your professional association, which might prevent you from providing some of the services that you might even be interested in. At this juncture, it would be nice to throw more light on the various services, at least not exhaustively, that an accounting firm can render. The first is the accounting processing and reporting service. You can render the audit service via the statutory or external audit, internal audit, or management review services. It could be business advisory services. It could also be insolvency and reconstruction, which has to be either in the form of liquidations, receivership, bankruptcy, restructure, sale or closure of businesses, etc. Also, you could render financial planning services. This has a range or a large range of other services described as financial planning. For example, you have the creating savings or investment plan service. You have the reviewing investment performance service. You have retirement planning service, advice on pension and related entitlement service, use of pension plan funds service, advice on retirement issues and timing of retirement from employment, ongoing operations and reporting for pension plan funds or other investment and entities services, portfolio management service, source finance for a client, or assist in the preparation of application for finance service. Then you have taxation. Taxation could come in the form of income taxes, a range of business taxes such as value-added tax or similar, land taxes, inheritance taxes, wealth taxes, representing your client during a taxation audit, tax planning, and choice of structures. Other services that cannot be categorically classified into any of these groups they are basically from emerging services, are centered on business coaching and monitoring, business planning and external chairmanship, forensic accounting or appointments as expert witness in case of financial loss, human resource consulting, job descriptions, pay structures, design of incentive schemes, advice concerning termination of employment, mediation and/or arbitration, technology consulting, choice of especially accounting packages used by clients, implementation of IT systems within the client firms, implementing e-commerce applications or principles within the client firm, and even your own firm. After identifying the type of firm you are going to have and its ranges of services, you can put in place all of the resources necessary to deliver those services professionally and efficiently. To do this, you have to consider the following. 1. The type and number of employees, the skill level of those employees, ongoing professional development and training required, information resources, manual, publications and subscriptions, software programs, skill support networks that should be developed, infrastructure requirements, and importantly, the amount of capital you will be required to achieve this. After all said and done, the next step is for you to develop plans for your firm's various functions. Develop more detailed plans for the following functions. 1. Service delivery. This plan must clearly state the range of service provided by your firm. Just as importantly, it should also describe how the firm will handle services it does not offer, whether clients will be referred to another organization or whether clients will simply be told to find another provider of the required service. The service delivery plan should include the amount of professional development required and whether this will be largely provided in-house or by attending courses outside the firm. The plan should describe firm's approach to its systems and procedures. Every firm should have a champion to oversee the updates and any expansion of the documents and procedures used within the firm. From time to time, a major workflow process within the firm might need to be changed. A new accounting standard might demand an extensive redesign of the current process. The second functional area to plan is the risk management and mitigation. Building a risk management mindset into your firm for information about developing a risk management plan, specific guidance on risk management strategy within the firm, business community planning, human resources plan. The human resources plan should dovetail into the service delivery plan. The next functional area is personnel. The personnel plan should attempt to forecast the likely number and skills base of people required by the firm over about 18 months period. The next functioning area to look at is the marketing and selling. Your marketing plan should identify the steps needed to move from your current position. For example, no clients or possibly the wrong clients to the goal position identified by your strategic plan. The key components of your marketing plan should include looking at the possibility of client referrals. The next functioning area is technology or ICT. This area in the modern day cannot be overemphasized, so you need to plan your ICT with respect to the gadgets you think you need, the facilities surrounding technology as it will enhance your firm functionality. Administration function. The administration plan needs to address issues which help the firm to run smoothly by ensuring that relevant supplies are in place, that purchasing of minor office supplies happens in an efficient and controlled way, that employees and suppliers are paid in a predictable and accurate way, that all the personnel, equipment, and other resources are available as required for the fee earners to be able to perform their roles, and that clients are sent bills and pay within the firm's trading terms. Then the next is the finance and budget or budget function. Virtually every decision made within a firm will have a finance consequence, and these are reflected in the budget or financial plan. Each of the individual plans described above should have its own budget, or the budgetary implications must be covered in the overall firm-wide budget. A budget allows a firm to prioritize its actions and plan for any problem realistically in advance. Many firms are moving towards using team budgets instead of individual budgets for revenue. But even within a team budget, all personnel must contribute fairly towards the overall figure. Now, the next stage is for us to plan for effective relations with clients and employees. Social commentators will tell you that there are certain groups of people that have vast different aspirations and motivations. For that reason, effective communication demands that you learn how to tailor a particular message to address the key motivating factor for each generation. This session looks at factors that combine to build quality relationship with those who you encounter in your professional life. Some of these factors are: 1. Generational consideration. It is important for public practitioners to be aware of the different generations. Your clients and your personnel are drawn from several generations. Some motivators will be important to all employees and partners, whatever generation they represent. Factors such as leadership, integrity and consistency, recognition and praise for good work, skill development and variety of work. However, there are a lot of other issues that have different treatment depending on the generation concerned. 2. Communication style. Using a single communication or management style will not deliver a true contented workforce, nor will it guarantee effective communication with all clients. 3. Client mobility. Client mobility has to do with you recognizing that clients are less willing to stay with an accounting firm if they are not satisfied with some aspects of the service. Retaining clients for the long term requires more attention now than ever before. Then value addition. Today's accountant must consequently focus on value adding for the client, that is delivering benefits, not just information, and annually and continually reselling the service, security, or the confidence that their service represents. Use of internet. Easy access to firm information via the internet means some clients will seek information for themselves and diagnose problems within your own businesses and or to suit their taxation or other needs. This carries a risk that clients might misdiagnose the underlying problem or act on incomplete information and therefore take an unsuitable course of action. So you have to also know your client's perceptions. Clients expect rapid service and quick turnaround of work. Technology for locking and compressing files or documents accelerate this trend. Advisors are expected to be available whenever they are needed. People are less patient to wait for answers. 7. Employee turnover. This is very rampant now. You can recall the regular Japa syndrome in Nigeria. So it is easy for employees to take off. So it is important for you to understand your employees' mindset and treat them in a manner that will enable them. Now let's look at building a risk management mindset into your firm. You know that in accounting, you cannot talk of any plan without considering risk effect or risk factor. Now, when managing your accounting firm, it is important that you build in the risk mindset into your firm. And how do we do this? Actually, some risks should they eventuate, might only be an annoyance. Others could threaten the viability of your firm or cause you to lose all your personal assets. Effective risk management helps you to control and hopefully eliminate each risk or its impacts. Therefore, the following 10 steps should be considered. First, start with a quality recruitment process, followed by ensuring that employees are properly trained, and do not delegate tasks beyond capability levels. Also ensure that employees are aware of systems and standard procedures. Have a procedure to identify weaknesses or problems with systems. Employ proper review processes. Make sure you maintain an adequate spread in your fee base. Do have adequate insurance of your assets and precious items. Back up your technology and records. Be fully aware of privacy and client confidentiality guidelines. It is also important to consider other relevant issues that are necessary in managing the firms. The following should also be critically considered while managing your firm. First and foremost, minimizing exposure to loss of key personnel. You must take that into consideration seriously because your personnel determine some level of strength of the firm. So you must minimize the jackparism that could take place in your firm. Partners and owners. You must consider the partners provide leadership at many levels. Technical leadership, leadership in the production and commercial aspects of the firm's operation, and shaping the culture and atmosphere within the office. So you must have this consideration and give it critical thought in your planning process. Internal accountant/manager, if employed, you have to consider this factor as well. You have to also consider senior accounting employees in the firm, as well as considering managing service risk. You must look into the service risk and ensure that they are controlled, if not mitigated. Minimize potential problems in service delivery. You must also implement a practice manual and system. I would like to elaborate on this further by saying that a practice manual ensures that all personnel can quickly access details about the way the firm operates and its professional standards. New personnel can be made aware of the full extent of a particular policy. Documenting these processes will improve the quality and effectiveness of the training process. And finally, using benchmarks to drive performance and improvement. There are different types of benchmarks you can use. There are the external benchmarks, there are the internal benchmarks, there are the industry benchmarks. And using KPI of the different benchmarks can help you organize your firm appropriately. After putting all the processes and the strategic plans in place, the next thing, it is important for us to know how the business or what entails in the business of running a firm. The key stages in running an effective firm are shown in this virtuous cycle of an efficient accounting firm. You find out that the first aspect of running a firm is to find a client. Remember that this was covered under your marketing strategy, which enables you to identify the kind of marketing strategy. Do you make it client-centric? Are you making it differentiation and all that? So after identifying and finding a new client, you tailor your service. So what you already know from your service strategy, you already know the services you are rendering. So if you can provide the service of this new client, the next stage is to agree on the price and terms. After agreeing on the price and terms for the contract or the engagement, the next thing is to draft the engagement letter. Then after the engagement letter has been gotten or drafted and delivered, then you gather your information. During your interim audit, you have to gather the information, the background information of your clients, to enable you know the aspects and the strategy you are going to adopt in conducting your audit. Then you deliver the service, and after delivering the service, you communicate your outcomes to those in charge of governance. After which, when all is accepted and done, then you bill and collect your fee. This is known as the vicious circle of an efficient accounting firm. Lastly, we have been addressing the processes and strategies to manage our accounting firms or practice firms. But we have looked at internal forces and factors. It will also be important and relevant for us to look at the external forces. We have identified 9 different external factors that are current issues that can affect the management of our firms. So the very first one is environmental sustainability. Any firm can make a serious attempt to act in an environmentally responsible manner. One natural byproduct of minimizing a firm's carbon footprint often leads to running a less costly business. A simple approach is to focus on redesign, reduce, and then, if required, offset. Secondly, international standards for accountants. The trend towards globalization has brought with it the development of international standards of financial reporting, audit and assurance ethics, which impacts both practices and their clients. Many clients are becoming more global in their aspirations and business activities. This demands that the accountant should respond possibly through international alliances or links with other practices overseas. International financial reporting standards are now widely adopted across the world for the use of listed entities. Meanwhile, international standards issued by the International Auditing and Assurance Standard Board and the International Ethics Standard Board for Accountants continued to be adopted by an ever large number of jurisdictions. Recognizing the globalization of accounting services and growth in cross-border transactions, your personnel may need to develop cultural sensitivity as well as possible skills in foreign languages in order to cater to a broader and more diverse client base. Next is rising level of regulations and professional knowledge. There is a need for professional development across a range of accounting-based disciplines. Simply to maintain a current and adequate level of professional expertise, it is doubtful that this trend will slow. Given rapid change in technology and the nature of businesses, the increasing emphasis on corporate social responsibility reporting, perhaps best evidenced by the emergence of integrated reporting as advocated by the International Integrated Reporting Council, coupled with the likelihood of audit of clients' firms' environmental responsibility statements, will add further complexities to the preparation, review, and audit of financial statements. Next is mobility of talents and clients. We cannot talk of external factors without looking into the Japarism syndrome. It is not unique to Nigeria alone, but common in the world, especially in underdeveloped and emerging economies. Also, with the advent of technology, Japarism does not really mean leaving your country to another. In this sense, it simply means you can leave your client to you can leave your firm to another firm. So there is also the internal Japarism as well as the external movement. And technology has helped to internationalize businesses. It enables and encourages the amalgamation of data and even business across national borders. These clients, large and small, require accounting skills, communication protocols, risk management, knowledge of foreign exchange issues, and so on. It matters little whether the client business and its accountants are based in a remote regional area or in the middle of a major city. As well, nations respond to accounting issues at different times and in different ways. And next is technology. Technology will continue to be integrated within the accounting roles. More and more applications will become integrated, with more information being exchanged across the different organizations. For example, exchanging information between an accounting firm and a client bank is now a compliance arrangement. Anti-money laundering. Money laundering is the process by which criminal proceeds become legitimized by passing those funds through a range of transactions and or entities to disguise the original source of the underlying cash. It generally involves placing cash funds in some types of transactions, diverting that cash via one or more entities' transactions, then demonstrating a normal commercial basis which explains the existence of the cash. This is a critical risk area that an accountant or a firm should not joke with. Even from the onset of the analysis of a new client, it should assess the legitimacy of its funds. 7. Business continuity. The short-term and long-term imperative of any business is its continuity. The issue of business planning cannot be complete without some consideration of business continuity. As a professional accountant, you take responsibility for providing high-quality services to your client, acting at all times in an ethical manner. Circumstances occasionally arise in which continuity of services cannot be taken for granted. These scenarios need to be addressed in your planning process. 8. Interruption to businesses. On occasion, natural events may prevent your firm from operating for a period of time due, for example, to fire, floods, earthquakes, and other natural disasters, or unexpected interruption to power or computing infrastructure, or the several illness or death of the owner or a key person in the firm. This type of catastrophe cannot be underemphasized. So, it is expected that this type of catastrophic events are well outside the control of a firm, yet they impact on your ability to service your clients. A well-run firm requires a plan to cope with this type of shock. So it's important for a practicing accountant to manage this type of catastrophe that are beyond their own control. So there should be an adequate plan to check such interruptions to businesses. Continuity of business. This is very, very essential and relevant in any firm or company. You have to consider the continuity of your business, and there are so many factors to look at in this area. It could be as a result of the admission of a new partner who can bring in some changes to the organization, thereby affecting the business continuity if not adequately and properly planned. The partner could be as a result of the increase in the fee base of the firm over the years, and thereby attracting some qualified and experienced employees. Or it might even be a member of the founding practitioner's family. But this admission of a new partner would result to a major shift in the way the firm operates. Suddenly, decisions must be made jointly, Agreement is necessary between the two or more partners. Different personalities must be accommodated. Remember the generation consideration. Policies may need to be documented, and more formal records must be required in relation to the management of the firm. For example, to record the discussions among the partners. Roles should be outlined so that the partners know which decisions to make. A common view of the firm's direction is needed. There are also other issues that can affect business continuity outside admission of a new partners. These factors must be considered even right from the planning stage to ensure that the business or the firm continuity is in perpetuity. Thank you so much. This is the end of this lesson. I hope you find it interesting, and please kindly send all your questions and any clarifications to me. Thank you, and do enjoy your studies. Bye.